you stop and take a little time out with me? Just take 5.
That's a 5 part. You already know. You got a little episode in here. We got to talk about the draft and the NBA offseason, right? I'm joined by two. Jew, how we feeling?
Feeling good, man. Just got back. I'm excited to pie, man. Let's get into it.
So, Joey, what's up with you, man?
Same deal, man. Just got out of a long work day. Let's pod.
No, that could not be me. Could not be me. But anywho,
why are you home? Yeah, let's get into that real quick. Why are you home?
Now we got a little vacation going. Got the week off for the 4th of July. Went ahead, slid back to the crib, get some things to bring back. See the family, that sort of thing. We'll be doing our cookout a little bit later, but now some R&R in a big way. Definitely just woke up, right? So I may not get the usual, from me, but it's not too much that I have to be hype about. Y'all already know what it is. Atlanta Hawks, stay on whatever side you're on to begin with. But anywho, let's get into this draft here. Can't get into all 30 picks, but I definitely want to get through at least to at least through 7, right? And just get your takes on who was picked. And let's talk about that immediate impact that we, think these young players will have. I personally think this is one of the best drafts we've had, or at least witnessed. A lot of great drafts that we've seen, 2018, those types of drafts. But this one right here, I feel like we had some names going all the way through to 30. But we'll start with number 1. We saw the broadcast. Man was going crazy. Cooper Flag going to the Dallas Mavericks. We saw what that's gonna. I mean, we knew that's what was gonna happen. It was one of the few drafts where we knew who number 1 was gonna be. But we have to ask the hard questions, though. There's been a lot of hype surrounding Coop's name, right? What he's gonna bring to the table for Dallas. Like, do we believe the hype about Cooper Flag? Because we have people like Brian Scalabrine getting on live, and saying that this is a prospect like LeBron James. Coming out. Coach K said it's the best player to ever come out, right? Do we believe the hype around Cooper Flag, and what do we believe he's going to bring to this Dallas Mavericks team from day one? Is my question.
You can go first, Joey.
Can you all hear me? Am I bugging still or no?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. I think it was just spotty for a little bit. Yeah.
I was saying, yeah, you can go first. Go ahead.
All right. I think he's got the potential to be a really generational talent. I think I've said this on a previous pod, if not definitely in between all 5 or 6 of us. I think he has a very high floor. I think, at his worst, he could be a Scotty Barnes type player, which by all means is a very, very good player. He may not be like that of a scorer if he is at that floor, but hey, like he's got the potential, he's got the scoring prowess and upside. I think he could be a Ben Simmons with a jumper. I think he could be truly something special. I'm definitely believing the hype. The defensive versatility he's got at 6'9", I think he can really contribute to this Mavs team.
Very well said. Very well said. Now, Julian, you compared him to Kevin Love, right? So,
did I?
What do you like? Do you believe?
I honestly don't remember comparing him to Kevin Love. Like, honestly.
Yeah, I know we like to,
When did that happen?
Reality, from our very well. But anyway, what do you think about Cooper Flag coming in? I mean, do we believe the hype?
I mean, I believe the hype. I think he's a very good player. I don't think that. I think some of the takes are egregious. Like, I wouldn't compare him to LeBron. That's egregious. That just is. In no facet of the game is he LeBron, or will he ever be? And that's okay. That's one of the best players of a generation. So, or one of the best players ever, excuse me. So I think that's a lot to say and a lot to expect out of a guy. But I think he's one of the best prospects that we've seen recently. I think that's a fair take. I think he'll be a very good player because his game is so well-rounded. I don't really see him busting.
But let me
Honestly.
unpack that just for a second. So what do you mean by seen in a minute? Like we just saw
In
Paolo.
a few years, I don't think he's much better than I don't even think he's better than Zion.
You don't think he's better than Zion?
No, I don't. I don't think he was better out of Duke than Zion. No. I don't know why. I don't understand why. Like, I can ask y'all, why is he better than Zion? Like, I just from me looking at them play, like Zion he's more skilled than Zion, yes, but Zion's athleticism makes him to be so physically dominant that I don't think he's a better player than Zion. I don't think so. It's just a game more well-rounded for sure. But I think Zion is way more, or at least looking at Zion coming out of college, he had a better chance to hit superstar potential than a Cooper Flag would because he's just a man amongst boys versus NBA players. He even looks like that. So
a couple of things, Julian. Let me set you free. First and foremost, Joey, how tall is Cooper Flag? Is he a true 6'10"?
No, he's not. I don't think he's 6'10", is he?
He's a true 6'10", isn't he?
I don't think he's 6'10". I think he's like 6'8".
I mean, we can
or 6'9".
I don't. I mean, I really don't know. So, okay, so quick fast got him at 6'9". All right, Julian, he hasn't turned 19. I don't think.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, the young man hasn't turned 19, right?
I mean, look, that all sounds good, but like all of the guys who we see, all of the guys who are at the top of the draft are within a year of each other.
I'm just letting you know, though. Like he's an 18-year-old. You know,
I'm not saying that I don't think he's going to get better. That's not what I'm saying. I think
I didn't say. I'm just giving you the facts. I'm giving you the
sure.
context of the situation because if Zion is better, then we have to acknowledge all of this, right? So again, you know, this is an 18-year-old running around. You mentioned the skills and drills, right? Zion coming out, he was an underrated playmaker. Of course, he was a physical specimen and athlete. We weren't very concerned. We had questions about his jump shot going into this, right? Cooper Flag, he can already shoot. He can already get buckets. He has a low post game, footwork, all of that. He's not a good
3-point shooter though. He's really not. He's not.
I mean, he's better than Zion.
I mean, for sure, he's
better than Zion was. So it's just like again, like when you bring that aspect into going into NBA basketball, right? He has all the skills, he has the playmaking ability, and then we talk about the other side of the floor as well, right? To where he's not considered undersized for his position. Like he can, you know, come out there with this wingspan and make an impact on that side of the floor. Like I don't know if I can sit here and say that Zion was a better prospect than the man. I mean, the athleticism, we get that. You know, Zion was a man, but when you talk about the potential of this young man, I gotta go with Coop. And I'd like to hear what Joey got to say about that too, because we got the clips. Like, you got the clips, but that you with us, Joey?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, you know, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Awesome. I mean, I definitely think like in this league to be successful as a player, you need to be able to defend and you need to be able to shoot. By no means do I think, Cooper Flag is going to be this sniper out of the gate, but I definitely think he's got a lot more to work with than a Zion Williamson. I think he has a lot more, physical tools to work with defensively than Zion Williamson. I think, he can be an impact player right out of the gate. And at this stage, we've seen enough of Zion, in and out of the lineup and just like what he's working with and, not really to a fault of his own. It's not like he could grow like 4 inches overnight, but like, I just don't see it. I really just don't see it from Zion. I don't see that defensive upside. I don't see that, being able to like to add a jump shot to his game. I got to go with Coop here.
Yeah, I mean, and we're saying a lot of the same things. Even Julian mentioned this. I mean, when we talk about just the skills and drills, right? Zion relied a lot on athleticism because he had that. Like that's just what he was, and that's not something that you can guard. But again, I'm looking at Cooper Flag Duke stats, 38.5 from three. Come on, Jew. Like, come on, big fella. Like, he's gonna come in and he's gonna be major. So.
I think he'll be good. I'm not.
No, I know. No, I'm not saying you didn't say that, right? Trey Mann, $24 million deal with the Hornets, but to answer my own question though, do I believe the hype? Absolutely, absolutely. This is not something that we've seen before in terms of talent. Of course, when we start talking LeBron territory, that's insane. That's insane.
I don't understand. I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand.
Yeah, that's not it at
not
all.
the LeBron point. That's not even. We don't even need to discuss the LeBron point. That's foul.
Not at all.
But
That's
I don't
crazy.
understand we've never seen this before. Like, what do we do? I don't understand
that. I don't like to bring, I don't want to talk about racism, right? But no, I don't know if we've seen the 6'9" coming in, skills and drills, handle already, booming on folks since Larry Bird. I don't know if we've seen that.
You mean who was white?
Name an individual that
Are you saying someone who was white?
That going number one, bona fide? Like, no.
Yeah, no, for sure. I thought you were talking about just basketball.
No, not just basketball. I'm just saying, like, again, when we have an 18-year-old prospect coming out of Duke that's doing the type of things that we're seeing him doing at his height, right? You'd have to bring up a name to me, like, so it's for me to really understand where we're coming from. And like I said, this guy is numero uno. Like, there was no questions about it. So it's been at least a very long time since we've seen something like that. And yeah, I just mentioned the age too. I mean, it's an 18-year-old kid. Like, you can say what you want about, how guys are coming in now, they're younger, whatever, but like, it's not something you see every day for sure. But I'd like to compare him to his peers, so to speak. Like what I mean by that is like the last 5 years of draft picks. We've had great guys, like I'm saying, like the Paolo Bancheros, the Wembeyamas, you got Reese Shea over in Atlanta, right? You got Cade Cunningham. So out of those guys, just that we've seen, I expect him to be the highest one, if not with that Paolo Banchero, so to speak. I expect him to be right up there. And I'll backstroke a little bit. I mean, Wembanyama, we still need to see what he's going to bring to the table because we know he's going to be a defensive monster. But I expect him to be right up there with those guys once he comes in year 1, year 2, so to speak. So that's my take about it. I'm believing hype. I'm believing hype.
That's just. I think that's very tough.
I mean, I've seen what I saw. I've seen what I saw. And the difference between him and all of those guys is he's going to an established team as well, right? So, he's going to be playing meaningful basketball early.
The difference for him is, I agree. He can contribute to a winning effort next year. I think that's really good for him. Like I think they'll make the playoffs. They got my boy D'Lo. They got a point guard to run the show while Kyrie's down. So I think that he'll be able to contribute to winning next year. I honestly think they'll make the playoffs. Obviously, being paired with Anthony Davis and both of those two centers in the front court, I think will bode well for him. And also, I think he has a somewhat of a similar skill set to Anthony Davis. I wouldn't say it's as polished like right now, but just raw ability. I think it's somewhat similar. So I think that will help him out a lot too, to be able to learn from a guy like that.
Just learning from champions, period. You know what I mean? We said that with Wemby coming in with that Spurs franchise, right? But again, like you got guys that just got through doing it not too long ago. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good there. But we're on to San Antonio here with the Dylan Harper pick. All right. So there's been a lot of talk, a lot of chatter surrounding his name. We know exactly what he brings to the table. I just want to ask y'all, I mean, do y'all like this pick for the San Antonio Spurs and what they already have?
I guess I'll take it away here. I think you could have gone one or two routes. You could either went with the Dylan Harper, the best player available, or you could have went for fit and you could have went with VJ Edgecombe. I think they made the right pick. I think they went with the best player available. He's definitely got a really, high upside. He looks like a beast, honestly. He was great at Rutgers. I think he has star potential. I think the real concern for me is, you're crowded with all this guard potential. You traded for De'Aaron Fox in the middle of last season. Mm-hmm. You have Stephon Castle, obviously. So my question is, what are you going to do with De'Aaron Fox if Dylan Harper makes that, sort of all-star step? Are you going to keep him around? Are you going to have to get rid of De'Aaron Fox? But I think that's more of a we'll cross that bridge when we get there type of thing. But the future is definitely looking bright in San Antonio.
That was my question, Joey. That was my question about it. Now, Dylan Harper, I mean, I'm seeing him listed as 6'6", so it's like he can play that combo spot for sure. I mean, we know he has no trouble scoring the basketball. Could even slide to that 3 spot if possible there. But what do you think about that pick?
I mean, just echoing what Joey said, he was the best player available, so I don't think it was a bad pick at all, honestly. And getting another left-handed guard with De'Aaron Fox, having him to mentor him, I think is a good situation for him to come into the league too. So I think it was a good pick, honestly. I thought he was the best player in college basketball early in the season last year. And he got hurt.
Anywho, it's always good though, like what Julian is saying, to where you can get a draft pick. He has potential, he has the skill set, but he's not asked to come in and be the franchise. He gets to learn, he gets to get his reps in, right? That sort of thing. But I do, and I'm pulling up the Spurs roster here because I do have a lot of questions about fit, When you have that second round, they just had the rookie of the year with Stephon Castle. We know that. But when you have a young team like this that you're building, I don't know. And this will be controversial, but if I'm them, I'm even looking and considering that Con Knipple type of pick. Get somebody in there that could bridge, that gap that you have between guard and forward.
He's fine. Con is really good, but I don't think that you could pick him over. I don't think you could pick him over a Dylan Harper. But he's really
not in terms of course, who's the better player, but better fit.
I get what you're meaning.
You know what I mean? Like you I'm sure they thought about it at least. Like try and get a guy in there. Of course, he's a shooter. Sniper, can do a lot of things with the basketball. I don't know. I personally don't know if I would have made that pick, but of course, I mean, he's the best player available at that time, so you can't knock them for it at the end of the day, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think my thing is, number 2 overall is not exactly a pick you take for fit. No matter how high of a draft pick you are. And I think if you would have went with a VJ Edgecombe, if you decided to go to the Con Knipple route, like why not trade down? Why not see what you can get to go down to 4 with the Hornets? Or, if you're confident that you'll be able to get Con at 5, what are you getting in return to, drop a few slots? Like what do you think could really benefit you there? Do you think, even if you're at 4, do you think you can get like a Grant Williams? Do you think you can get like a nice piece to kind of complement your young guys, maybe a little bit of a veteran presence, so to speak. But again, if you're going to keep the number 2 spot, you're picking the best player available at this point, regardless of fit.
And you never know what these other teams will do in terms of, if you want to trade down with that pick. Because again, I mean, you look at that top 7, these are all guards. You know what I mean? Like these are all guards except for Khan, pretty much, right? So we're gonna get into it, but let's do the VJ Edgecomb though, right? Because I have high hopes for the young man. Definitely seeing what he could do at college. I think that he's coming in with the correct mentality that's necessary in order to be a great player in this league. I do have questions about that fit when we talk about that Philadelphia 76ers loaded roster that they have, loaded with guards as well. But I'll pass it to y'all. Go ahead, Joey. What VJ Edgecomb, what do we think about that pick at 3?
I think I like that pick. I think, you at this point, like, you don't really draft again, like, this is not really a place in Philly that you are like, okay, like, let's take a prospect at 3. Let's take a raw prospect. Let's take a project, like that wouldn't have been, the right way to draft Ace Bailey. I don't think it would have really made much sense. You need someone who's going to contribute now. Maybe not. You don't have to contribute at a star type of level, but at least give you that sort of NBA ready feeling. And I think VJ Edgecomb kind of gives you that. No matter what, he could play off of a Tyrese Maxey, he could play off of a Paul George, a Joel Embiid. He could benefit from being, next to those guys. Even Jared McCain, who's coming back, I think. Him being around that sort of, I don't want to say star power, but I mean, yeah, kind of star power. I think he will benefit greatly from, and I think he will be given a great opportunity to succeed.
For sure. Get in here, Drew. What do you know about VJ Edgecomb?
I mean, he's one of the most athletic players in the whole draft. Kind of like Joey just said, I think he can come in and contribute immediately, especially on a team like Philly. He doesn't have to be a primary scorer or ball handler. He can just be a guy that plays off of their good players. So I think it was a great pick, honestly.
Well, Joey, I hear you what you're saying about you don't think too much when you have a top 3 pick like this. Tyrese Maxey, Quentin Grimes, Paul George, Jared McCain, you just got over there. He's proven that he's going to have big time minutes going into the season. He's not going to play anytime soon. And even if you think about moving off of like a Joel Embiid, for instance, he's still behind. You'd have to assume a Maxey and a Jared. I mean, be tough.
I don't think that they're going to be able to keep Grimes. Honestly, like they already lost Gershon today, I'm pretty sure, and I think they're going to lose Grimes. Grimes asked for $25 million. They're not going to pay him $25 million.
He's thrown, but
I'm just saying if Quentin Grimes is going to be able to command even a $20 million, no way he's going to go back to Philly for that. So then Edgecomb does slide into that second unit with a Jared McCain or with, I don't know, whoever's sliding off the bench. I don't know who will be off the bench for the Sixers next year. But, yeah, he'll play on that second unit. He's a 2-3, bro. He can play 3.
They've got a lot of guys on this team. That's all I'm saying. They've got a lot of guys. So, of course, you pick for the future, though, right? So, I don't know about immediate impact. I don't know what type of minutes he's going to be looking at coming into this year, right? But, yeah, I mean, y'all are right. You pick for the future, though, whatever the future holds for a team like Philadelphia. Yeah, our Philly kid isn't in here to refute that. But let's go to Khan. All right, Khan Knipple got 2 Duke boys in the first 5 draft picks here, right? So, Joey, what'd you think about the Khan Knipple pick at 4 for the Hornets?
I love the fit. I think, when you think about him and even Liam McNeely at 29, you you want shooting. You want to space the floor around LaMelo Ball, around a Brandon Miller. And I think, these two, draft picks, obviously we don't know what McNeely's, playing minutes situation is going to be like, but I think, Khan is obviously going to go in there and give you some much needed shooting around those guys. He slides right in the middle there at the 2, between LaMelo and Brandon Miller. And, I think he could even give you maybe even a little bit of like on ball presence if for some reason you may need it. You don't totally need him to be a primary ball handler, by any means, but I think it's good and important that you have that sort of secondary ball handler. God forbid LaMelo is not able to stay healthy or Brandon Miller is not able to stay healthy. You feel a little bit comfortable knowing that, Khan can do that for you.
Drew?
I mean, I agree. I love Khan. He's one of my favorite players in the draft class. I don't think he got enough love at Duke, honestly, for what he did for that team. There were certain huge games where he showed up the biggest, and we didn't talk about it, obviously, because he's getting outshined by his teammate, which is fine. But that guy can do everything. He plays defense as well. And to Joey's point about playmaking, he absolutely can play make. At certain times last year, he was the ball handler for Duke. So I think that was a great pick.
I mean, I can't say he's been overlooked if you're going,
you're going number 4 for sure, but you also just compared the guy number 1 to LeBron. So nobody else is really getting shine,
I mean, hey, but Khan, just like what Julian is saying, though, the kid is talented. I mean, this is one of the I like that pick a lot. If he's not my second, what am I even trying to say? I'm looking forward to watching him play. Talk about summer league, talking about in the league next to VJ Edgecombe. Man, I mean, I am looking forward to seeing what Khan is going to bring to the table. And one thing I will mention that y'all have it is he's got this mature presence about him. When he plays the game of basketball, when you talk to him on the press conference, that sort of thing, I feel like he's going to bring in a certain level of seriousness. Like, hey, I'm not here to, F around. I'm here to try and, win, make this team better. That LaMelo and the Charlotte Hornets will desperately need in there. And I feel like when I talk about fit, what does a team need immediately? He's going to be a guy that's going to slide right into that 3 spot with LaMelo and Brandon Miller. And he's going to be their starter for years to come. I like this pick a lot. I'm glad that they made it, right? And I think that Charlotte Hornets team is a few steps away, right, for being a team that we look at and say, hey, this is one of the best or better young teams that we have in the league there. So I'm looking forward to watching that guy play, period. Ace Bailey, so much chatter, from the media, from everybody about, where this guy is going to go within the draft. Some people saying that he made a mistake not working out with teams. Let's start there, honestly. Like, do you agree with the Ace Bailey situation of not wanting to work out with any NBA teams, just kind of let his game during college do the talking, and then hopefully force his way to, I believe he was looking for Washington or the Pelicans, if I'm not mistaken there. Like, how do we feel about that, Joey?
I think the way that I think about it, I think he's on record saying, hey, I want to go somewhere where I have a clear pathway to become a star. I don't see how you do that on the Pelicans. I really don't. You already have Zion there. You have Trey Murphy there. Like, it just, like, that doesn't make sense. Washington, okay, yeah, like, that makes a little bit more sense. But, I mean, I think we're overlooking Utah a little bit. I think that's a very prime, area where I think you can become a star. Lauri Markkanen is your best player. We don't really know what's going to happen with him. I know he just signed a huge contract, so maybe it'll be a little bit tougher to get off of that. But I think you need kind of that like young star power on that Jazz team, because you don't know what you're going to do with the Lauri Markkanen, and once you kind of get off him, what are you really gonna do? What are you gonna be left with unless Isaiah Collier is gonna become something? Taylor Hendricks, maybe. You have all these young pieces. You just got rid of Colin Sexton.
Yep.
I think I don't see how the Jazz is not a clear pathway to stardom here. And I think, once he kind of realizes that, and I think maybe he already has, saying that, hey, I didn't, count out the Jazz. I think because he's finally realizing, hey, like, I think this could be a prime opportunity for me to, get what I want, and to have all the tools that I need to, be able to become a star. So, I mean, I think we have yet to see that. I think we have yet to see, how his attitude may be. I think a real question is going to be, is there going to be enough veteran presence to kind of like, hey, like check him a little bit? But I think you kind of need that as a rookie. No matter how good you think you are, just to kind of push him. And maybe if he gets pushed, maybe that star will come out of him. We'll see.
Drew, you got any takes about the Ace Bailey situation?
I mean, I don't really understand why he wouldn't work out with teams unless he was trying to intentionally tank his draft stock. Maybe, like Joey said, he was trying to get to a team where he could be a star. So maybe that's why he did it. And I don't think he could star on the top 3 teams, or he couldn't star on the top 3 teams. He wouldn't fit there either. So I think it worked out better for him. In the long run, to end up on the Jazz, he'll definitely have a chance to chug next year, and that's what he does. He shoots the ball a lot, and he's a very capable scorer. So, I mean, I'm just kind of interested to see how it plays out. And it was kind of cool to see they got another scorer in Walter Clayton. I want to see how he pans out as well for the Jazz. So, I'm just kind of interested in that whole situation.
See, now me personally, I just wonder what happened to the process. You know what I mean? Like, I understand so many of these young guys' careers get shaped by where they get drafted and what type of situation, what type of environment that they are in. But at the same time, in the player empowerment era, just because you get signed one place does not mean that you're going to be there for the duration of your career. You know what I mean? Like, go to whoever drafts you, learn all you can, soak up all the information while you're a teenager, right? Become a better player, get those reps in the gym, learn the game, learn your X's and O's, watch film, and then, maybe you play yourself into a different contract on a different team where you are the guy, or you get into a position where you can be the guy. Because again, not only do you never know what's going to change within your own roster to where you may be propelled to being the guy because the entire Sixers team is on the injury reserve, right? You just never know what these other scouts are looking for in a player. And we get to these off-season moves, get to the trade deadline. But the other thing is, and they mentioned this, you don't want to burn bridges that you haven't even had a chance to make. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be in that type of position to where there's a narrative surrounding you that's in any type of negative light. Are you thinking that this guy has this ego to where they can't play for my franchise, or they just don't like us? He doesn't want to be. You don't want any of that coming into the league before you even establish yourself. So I don't really understand it. But to the Jazz, I don't know. I understand the Jazz, they're a young team. They could use more young players, but I don't know if I hear that from a prospect and then I make this pick, because I don't even know if this guy wants to be there. Right? He's going to get into that Utah snow or whatever. He may hate his life. Like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. And if that translates onto the court, then that's just another wasted pick that I made there. When there's other guys that we'll mention, there's Trey Johnson out there, there's Jeremiah Fears, like Maluwat, like there's different guys that I could bring out here that, I know will play well, will be well for me. Maybe not as good as an Ace Bailey, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm making that pick, but would y'all make that pick, knowing that he's the best on the board left, but at the same time, he's vocalized that he's not trying to go there.
Yeah, I would.
Hey, maybe that Utah snow will get him stuck in his neighborhood. Shout out DeAndre Ayton for real.
Like it's just scary, man. It's scary to push the button on something like that. And maybe they knew something we didn't. Maybe they had conversations with the agent. We know he didn't work out, but it's a scary pick to make. But let's go into these last two I want to mention, and then we can I'll let y'all speak on whatever other picks that we have there. But we have Trey Johnson going to the Washington Wizards and Jeremiah Fears to the New Orleans Pelicans, right? So which player there are you more excited about on that roster, right, in terms of that immediate impact that we're talking about here? Go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead.
Drew, if you got it, go ahead.
I mean, I like Trey Johnson better. I just like his skill set. He's a bucket. Honestly, I think he'll turn into a good defender as well. And I love watching him play. I watched him play not so much last year, but I saw a few games, and I was pretty sold after watching those. So I'm completely sold on him. I love that pick for them.
I would have liked to see him in Utah, dude. I'm trying to tell you. Like, I think he's going to be one of those guys. But, Joey?
I agree, and I think it's more so on the basis of, you look at Jeremiah Fears going to New Orleans. I just don't think that's a very ideal situation for him. But I think even talking about him as a prospect, he's kind of, if I'm not mistaken, a shorter guard. If I'm not mistaken, his jump shot wasn't really there in college. Defensively, he's not really there. You're not really. It's a very raw, another very raw prospect, and I think. Again, like I'm going to say this time and time again, we're in an age in the league where you need to shoot and you need to be able to defend. And, I think at a 7th overall pick and a very, loaded draft, I just don't see it. Because how many undersized guards do you think are able to survive in this league that are not able to shoot or defend?
I mean, he's a 6'4". It's having him listed as, we're talking Fears, right? Yeah, so. Yeah, he's a 6'4", so he's going to be limited to that point guard spot at this day and age, like you're saying, right? So that comes with a lot of responsibility, a lot of work is ahead of him for sure. So, he was a good player in college. I've been mentioning the fit of these teams for each one of these because I do think that matters when we talk about these young players going into the situations that they go to. Joey, what type of guards does the New Orleans Pelicans have at this point?
Let's see. You just traded for Jordan Poole. You
got Jordan Poole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, they just traded CJ for Jordan Poole.
What else did they trade? That's a good trade.
It's a
yeah. We'll get it.
I'm gonna get to that. Trust me. It was Jordan Poole and was it Sadiq Bey for CJ and Kelly Olynyk.
Oh, I do remember seeing that. Yeah. They got blitzed.
You also got DeJounte Murray coming back from an Achilles. You don't know what he's going to be like. Talk about another guy who, yes, like he's actually able to defend shooting. He's fine. I think he's an improved shooter from what he was. But I think at the end of the day, an Achilles injury is a very hard injury to come back from. And I feel like DeJounte Murray is just going to be a shell of what he once was as an athlete. Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough for him. So I'm going to talk more about the Pelicans in a little bit, but I think,
but still,
I just don't understand this mix of players here. I just don't.
They got Grand Theft Alvarado over there as well, right? So he's going to be playing big time minutes. I don't know. I simply don't know. But hey,
they're gonna trade Zion. They're gonna trade Zion and just blow the whole thing up.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Somebody has to take Zion, but
they should trade Zion. I want to see him play for someone else.
The Hawks should take him, bro.
For who?
What do you mean for who? At this point, he's worth the bag of chips. Like,
anyway,
what are you doing?
Yeah, you're fried, bro. You're fried.
Yeah, definitely fried.
A bag of chips.
Would you actually trade for injury-prone Zion and give up like a superstar?
I mean, you have no superstars to give up. So
I'm saying, would anybody?
They're not going to trade Trey, but I'm saying like, who would they trade? I don't know.
Bro,
we're gonna trade Rishon.
We could trade what's his name, Jalen Johnson.
Who?
Nah, bro, that would be throw. Anyway,
they're not trading Jalen Johnson. I don't.
Let me stay with this draft though. Let me keep us on track. So, we mentioned the first 7 draft picks here. Any honorable mentions y'all believe that will come in, make that immediate impact? You like the fit for the team that we did not mention in that top 7?
Just from the top 7?
Nah, away from the top 7. Away from
because Walter Clayton, like, he really should have gone top 10. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
he should have gone top 10, and he will have an immediate impact.
I mean, he's tough. It's just because he's a senior. I think they don't draft you top 10, you know. But he's nice.
Yeah.
He's a good. I love what he could do. What's up, Joe?
I love the Jacashonis pick at 20 to Miami. I think he definitely was capable of getting drafted at a top 10 position in this draft, but I think I'm not very high on Tyler Hero as your point guard. I'm really not. I think there's a lot of, things that you have to really work with Jaku. I think specifically his ball security and, reducing the turnovers, but I think he gives you a great frame at 6'6". I think there's a lot of defensive upside there. A lead ball handler. And I think especially with a guy like Bam Adebayo, you're not really sure what's going to go on with him. But even Khalil Ware, who had a very great rookie year, I think you definitely need that sort of point guard of the future type of deal, especially because you're not really sure what's going to become of Bam and Tyler Hero at this point.
I've seen his tape, and we'll see, right? So you never want to question the Miami Heat draft pick because they tend to pan out well in that system for them. Like they don't make picks just to make picks. So we'll see what he brings to the table. As far as that Heat team is concerned, I mean, he's gonna have to play. I don't know what else they have over there, so he's gonna have to play. But honorable mentions, which I got. Anybody else that you think is gonna come in and be good for their team?
I mean, they're also saying that Jan Henseen is the next Shaq, pretty much.
It's the return of the Ming Dynasty.
Yeah, exactly, bro. I've seen the tape.
Yeah, you did. If you haven't watched the tape, definitely watch it.
He definitely moves slow as hell.
Yeah. Jokic, I mean, you'll see.
Sengun.
Perhaps.
I think so. I was going to say that if not him, I'll go. I really like Carter Bryant. He was a really good piece last year. A lot of raw talent, in my opinion. Super athletic, super good defender. So I think he could be a really good piece. Also, I want to give a shout out to a big man. Who was it? Oh, Danny Wolf from Michigan. He's like a big guard. He is tough, bro. That boy is tough. I don't know what they're doing in Brooklyn.
They drafted 5 guards essentially with all their first round picks.
I don't really understand what they're cooking in Brooklyn, but I think that Danny Wolf is tough. So hopefully it works out for him there, or hopefully whatever Brooklyn's doing works out. Because I don't understand it, but we're gonna see.
They're not cooking, dude. That's Meals by Jew over in Brooklyn. No one to just do what they did this draft, but I'll end it with this though. I'm gonna have to shout out to Atlanta Hawks. We got to talk about Asa Newell. Coming in, athletic big man,
That is
extreme
a good pick.
wingspan. He essentially, this was the adios to Clint Capella that we needed. Right, he's gonna come in. He's gonna be able to play some good minutes for us off the bench. I'm very impressed with the pick there. Love what we did with the draft, trading back to get that guy. So, love to see it. Definitely love to see it. But now, this is what we've been waiting for, though. I had no idea how to even go through it. So, I'm gonna just let y'all decide where this conversation goes. But we'll start with Joey here. So, let's get our winners and losers from the off season so far.
Alrighty, I think we ended off the draft talk with the Hawks. I think we're gonna start off the winners and losers talk with the Hawks.
Talk about it.
I am on record being was on record being a Hawks skeptical. But I really like what they did this offseason. I really, really do. I think you're off that
No, go ahead and talk about it. Go ahead and talk about it.
I think you're off that Capella money. I know Morgan's super hyped about that. I don't see much excitement over there. We gotta get his face on the screen, please. I need to see that. I need to see that smile on his face that he's off that Capella money.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time.
You're off that.
It's definitely been a long time. I'm from Atlanta, not Julian, but I'm from Atlanta. Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
No, but
you're not from Atlanta. I'm actually from Atlanta. What are we doing?
Where are you from? Like,
no,
Canada,
you're from China.
Wherever you at. Wherever you at, man. Hey.
But anyway, I think I like the Nickeil Alexander Walker plucking him from Minnesota. I think that was huge. I think he gives you a nice little secondary ball handler to bring off your bench, even to put in the closing lineups. Even at times, I think, he's huge. Nice little, maybe like, 15-ish million a year. I think that's something you just have to do. Luke Kennard's a nice little flyer. I mean, it's a 1-year deal. He kind of rotted on Memphis a little bit. But I think he can really, contribute, give you guys some much needed spacing. We mentioned Asa Newell. I'm going to get to that draft pick in a little bit. The KP trade was a little interesting to me. I think he's on an expiring deal. He's getting paid $30 million this year, but I mean, you only gave up, so much. You gave up Terrence Mann getting paid $15 million in the next 3 years. You gave up George Niang, I think maybe like a second even. So you got him for a very low price, and I think especially after his availability questioning in last year's playoffs, you don't really know what's going to happen. But I mean, the worst case scenario, he stinks it up for you. He has a little repeat of what happened to him in Dallas. You're kind of off that money. You get a lot more cap space at the end of the day. So I mean, best case scenario, he works out. You extend him. He's the best teammate that Trae Young has ever had. You get a nice skilled big that Quinn Snyder can throw out there. Hit a few threes. Protect the paint. You definitely have the perimeter defenders around him. I think he's a very interesting pickup. And now I think they really beat New Orleans in that draft. I think trading up to that 13th, trading that 13th pick away to go down, draft Asa Newell. I think his defensive upside is great. I think he can give you some nice solid small ball 5 minutes. But I think the really, big part that they really snuck away with, getting that first round unprotected pick next year from the Bucks, essentially the more favorable of the Pelicans or the Bucks. Especially you don't really know what's going to happen with the Bucks. I'm going to talk about them in a little bit, but I don't know why New Orleans would give that up. I really don't. But I think that pick is going to be really valuable down the line.
Definitely very valuable. Definitely very valuable. I mean, we all know the Hawks. We've been winning lately, right? It's definitely a breath of fresh air, so to speak. Jacob,
give him the flowers.
Hawks have been doing so far.
What do you say?
I said, do you like what the Hawks have been doing so far?
I mean, for every reason Joey just said, it's impossible not to like what the Hawks are doing. I think Porzingis was a really good one. We gave up Terrence Mann and a bag of chips for Porzingis. And it's crazy because I just realized he said that would be the best player Trae Young has ever had, potentially.
Best case
sad.
scenario.
Trae Young has had no help at all and still went to an Eastern Conference Finals. I can't imagine what he's gonna do with this team, but I think he's gonna win a finals. So
no help. And what we wanted so long, Joey, is just a decent big man in the middle that's gonna anchor the defense, right, and give us a little bit on. Oh, now Porzingis, I hope y'all realize we don't need him to come in like as he was for Dallas or anything like that. Like he could really ease into that, right? He could ease into that if he's gonna play big. Be in the pick and roll situation, do you get a little pick and pop action, maybe at the, elbow jumper, a little space the floor or something like that with a point guard like Trae Young? He's never seen easier buckets in his life. He really has never seen easier buckets in his life. I like the pickup a lot because, what Joey said, we did not have to get, throw the sink at getting a guy like that. There are other guys out there, the Miles Turners of the world, the DeAndre Aytons of the world, who I believe would look good on the Hawks, but what we got for the price can't beat that. No, you definitely can't beat that. But Joey, let's keep going though. Who's another winner of the off season here?
The Houston Rockets. I think I think the way they're going about this offseason, I think especially the end of last season, very Thunder-esque. I'm not saying that they're going to be, finals contenders, the following year. I mean, they maybe could. I mean, we'll see. But I think it's a very similar. All I'm saying is just a very similar approach. You let the season ride out. You kind of figure it out who you need to really, take a hard look at who you really needed to get rid of, what you needed. Jalen Green didn't perform for you. Didn't really feel like he would be, someone that you could keep around long term. Got rid of him. We got Kevin Durant.
Let me say this too, real quick, Joe. Let me say this because I know you won't mention this, but yeah, Jalen Green off the court, can't keep that guy around. But now you keep going though. Keep going.
Can we dive into that real quick?
We really shouldn't, but
what is wrong with Jalen Green off the court? I don't understand.
His head's not right.
Bro,
his head's not screwed on correctly.
Let's be real, bro. We were. It's Drea, bro.
What do you mean it's Drea, bro? Like what's it supposed to be to me? His head's not. He's not. Head's not.
If he wipes her, it's way different. But he's just dating her,
bro. That's throwed.
Drake.
That's throwed.
Y'all better than me. I'm just saying, hey, you're better than me. If that's throwed, okay. Like I'm throwed too.
Not for that reason. Not for that reason at all. But like Zion Williamson. You see what I'm saying?
She's not a porn star.
Bro.
We cannot compare Drea, the actress, to a porn star.
I mean, they're both actresses.
Yeah, definitely both actresses. Like
they are both actresses. But Drea was lit. Like growing up, I had a crush on Drea. Like as a little.
What did he just say?
Yes, growing up,
bro,
years ago, still looks the same.
Decades ago,
she looks the same. All right, bro. The same. That's that fine wine. Like just being real,
bro. You need to leave the old ladies alone and get in the gym. Now, Joey, can you please keep going here because we getting so far off.
But basically what I'm saying, they needed a closer. They got their closer in Kevin Durant. They didn't really have to give up an insane amount for him. They gave Phoenix their number 10 pick back. All cool, all fine and dandy. You didn't have to really give up insanely much for Kevin Durant. I think the offseason signings, they got Dorian Finney-Smith to a nice little I think mid-level exception signing, which really good. love Dorian Finney-Smith. They got Capella back, which I think I'm a little confused about, just because I think like the double big lineup they ran at times with Steven Adams and Şengün was fine, but I think maybe he gives them a little an insurance policy on Steven Adams because you never really know at that point. Jabari Smith, I was a little skeptical about it, but I think at the end of the day, you don't totally need him to, be that primary ball handler to go get you a bucket. That's why you have Kevin Durant. That's why you have Fred VanVleet. So I think the more that I see it, I'm coming to terms with it. I think they got someone else too. I feel like, and I'm not putting my finger on it.
I could pull it up, but let me say this to the Clint Capella point though. My thing with that is you just need backup. Now, you never want to be in a position where you have to run Kevin Durant at your 4 or even, God forbid, your 5. So, it just gives you backup, more options. You play Clint limited minutes going forward, but it just gives you another guy that you need to get through a long season. So they re-signed Aaron Holiday, Jeff Green, Jason Tate.
They got Finney-Smith.
Yeah, he mentioned that.
I said that.
Oh, okay.
Just Finney-Smith, KD, and Clint so far that I know of.
Yeah, I swear they picked up someone else, but maybe I'm only thinking of that. But I mean, even having, I think Dorian Finney-Smith and Tari Eason, that combination is going to look really good. I love that.
Yeah. We're talking about, I don't even know how many games they won. It was over 50 last year. Adding in Kevin Durant. Yeah, 52 win season, second in the West. You add Kevin Durant to the mix. I love the Jabari Smith signing. Y'all know how I feel just about his game and about his potential in the league to be a scorer at that 4, even 3 spot there. Gave us 7 rebounds. That's nothing to scoff at, in my opinion, last year also. But he's just going to get better under the tutelage of a Kevin Durant, seeing how hard he works. I like it a lot. I like how they filled out their team. They feel like a complete roster at this point. I'd like to see what they bring to the table in that 2 spot. Finney-Smith he's cool, right? But as Lakers fans, we saw him in action. You know what I mean? And once we see you in action,
I thought he was good.
I mean, he was all right, but again, he was standing in that corner like, old boy in the corner down there. But, it is what it is. We'll see. But how y'all feel about the Rockets, though?
They'll be all right. I don't think they're going to win a finals.
So the Hawks are going to win the finals, but the Rockets aren't.
Well, only one team can win the finals, bro.
That's a take for so. Well, I don't know about that.
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and give finals takes in June, the 1st of July, but Rockets, they do have to go.
The Rockets look good.
Yes,
the Rockets look very good. Let's not sell them short, and don't let Amen Thompson take any type of step. If Amen takes a step, it's done. It's done. If he gets a jump shot, it's very, very, very done. Like very, very, very. The league is done.
Cold.
They're gonna win. I think they'll win the championship if he gets better and can shoot. I don't know what you would do with the team. Number one, like Joey just described it very well. They have so many wings who can score and they can play defense. All of those guys are huge, play very good defense, and can shoot. Some of them can shoot the ball, but if they take a step as shooters, I don't know what anyone would do. I really don't.
That's what I'm saying. And even if you have, questions about the switchability of some of these wing defenders, like a Dorian Finney-Smith at this point, like that's what you have Amen Thompson, but that's what you have Amen Thompson for. That's what you have a Fred VanVleet for. That's what you have an Aaron Holiday for. We may have to revisit this, like right when the Thompson brothers got drafted. You know how genetically gifted those two are?
They're probably the most gifted.
Crazy.
They're probably the most gifted right now in the league.
just as a raw talent. That's not a
Athleticism.
crazy take at all. Just raw athleticism, like
If both of them can shoot, they'll be top players in the NBA.
and
That's it.
seeing them play in overtime, like they're perfectly capable of shooting. It's just gonna take some time. Like, it's just gonna take some more reps at that NBA level. So I mean, you're selling me for sure, right? Because the team to beat is gonna be that Oklahoma City Thunder team, right? So you're gonna need wings, big wings that can defend, the Shays and the Jalen Williams. You're gonna have to have somebody that can move around Chet, and they have all of that, along with a KD in the
And
ranks.
now they stacked up big men too.
Yeah,
They added. I mean, they had Steven Adams, but they just added a Capella behind him.
that's what I'm saying.
It's tough. It's going to be tough to beat them. I hope that they. I don't know what they're going to do at guard necessarily. Like they have so many wings that I guess one of them will play the suit. But I don't know how much you can count on Fred to be your only initiator. Like KD he can't initiate offense, but I think that they do need to add someone behind him, behind a Fred VanVleet who can kind of get them going.
Get a budget guy in there for
there's
I think we
players.
here's my deal. I think we also are forgetting one person. Can someone tell me who that is?
Who? You talking about Sengun?
No, Reed Shepherd.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Reed Shepherd.
I don't know. We don't know. He didn't play.
Or forget. Yeah, I mean, hey, I think he's going to be counted on for some rotation minutes this season.
He was bro. That boy was a bucket. Can shoot the lights out. If he's good, I mean, if he's, I didn't think about that at all. Oof.
If he can initiate offense, I mean, he'll be able to, come in. I could compare him. He could be like a Peyton Pritchard type of guy, but he'll have to be able to defend his position. That's
not crazy. That's not crazy at all.
No, that was racist.
Anywho, again, he'll be asked to defend his position. That's the biggest question surrounding his game because we know offensively what it is. So that's it. But Joey, who else we got in here?
All right, I think my last winner, I'm gonna go with the Denver Nuggets. I think they really kind of upgraded here. I think they shaved off maybe $17 million by getting off that Michael Porter Jr. contract. Yeah, you gave up an unprotected 2032, if I'm not mistaken. But you know what? That's something you got to do at this point. Cam Johnson will give you a little bit more, I think, as far as a ball mover, as far as a defender, and I think maybe we kind of gas his defense up a little bit, but he definitely will give you a lot more defense than Michael Porter Jr. ever did. I think he's a winning basketball player on the right team. You bring back Bruce Brown on the veteran minimum. I think that looked good. You signed Tim Hardaway Jr. also, which I think was also kind of big. I think you got a lot more depth that was sorely needed last season. And you took the champs to 7. That, if anything, that Denver OKC series, that should have been the NBA Finals. Had there been no conferences, that would have been a very entertaining finals. I think that was the most entertaining series in all this playoffs. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. And I think, you want to capitalize on these Jokic years. And I think this new front office now, since firing Calvin Booth, I think has done a really good job in getting these pieces and even kind of maximizing this team under David Adelman, who, by the way, I think really deserved to keep that head coaching gig as well. I think he did a very, very terrific job at the end of the season. I, had my doubts firing Mike Malone, maybe 2 weeks before the season ended, but I think David Adelman did a very, very great job.
Remains to be seen what David Adelman is going to bring to the table, but
he did as good as you could do.
For sure. But for that very reason, Joey, that's why I have to push back slightly on this winning situation. They're going to miss Michael Porter Jr. a lot. A lot. I know Cam Johnson. He's a solid player, right? And he's been on winning teams before. We mentioned defense on the perimeter. He'll have the ability to switch around, do some different things out there. Michael Porter Jr. was not healthy And like you just said, they took the champion 2-7. Aaron Gordon was not healthy, and they took the champion of the West 2-7. Right. So now you're getting rid of Michael Porter, who is vital to them, especially in all the runs that they made. They won an NBA championship with this guy. You're bringing back Bruce Brown, which tips the scale for me to say, okay, yeah, you've won a little bit there, but this Cam Thomas thing, I mean, Cam Johnson thing, you're going to have to show me. You're going to have to show me that this guy is going to be a starter on a championship team before I can sit here and say this was a great move to make here. And I know once we talk contracts and all of that, things can get muddy. I know, he's a budget guy. This is how you keep out of that apron or whatever. But they're going to miss Michael Porter Jr. a lot. That's all I'm going to say about it, though. That's my take.
I
don't think
definitely think you're
going
going
to
to
miss
miss
that much.
I think you're going to miss the shooting for sure, and I think you're going to miss a little bit of the shot creation. But other than that, I think Cam Johnson's a little bit more of a well-rounded player.
You just got the exact same player pretty much for less money, except Cam Johnson is a little bit better.
Julian, I don't agree, bro. We're talking about 6. Michael Porter. Michael don't swing the rock, Porter.
What was he really doing out there? Like, where was he when we needed him the most?
What was he doing?
His arm was falling off, bro. He couldn't raise his arm over his head.
This is what I'm saying. Like, you see the padding on his shoulder. I put that photo in for a reason. But, bro, there's nobody that could block his jump shot and he shoot from Neverland. Right?
It's not like he wasn't hooping usually in the playoffs. Michael Porter used to be hooping. This year he happened to be hurt.
I mean, yeah, he did.
The last 2 years he was hampered by injuries, which really hurt them. You saw how big it was when he wasn't playing well.
Shoot a 3 that can't be contested.
The only reason I'll say I think that they did well, I think it was more of a lateral move in terms of Michael Porter and Cam Johnson than anything. I think it's pretty lateral between them two. But like Joey mentioned, the money side of it makes it a little bit better because they could bring back a Bruce Brown and a Tim Hardaway. They could add those guys onto the team, which they desperately needed. Like we saw last year, they only could play 7 players.
That and we still don't know what they're gonna do with Morgan's guy Russell Westbrook yet.
I don't think he's gonna come back.
No, he'll be out of there because they again like the whole coaching situation that he got caught into that. So he'll be out of there. That's what I think. But again, you won a championship with this guy. You know what I mean? We know what he's like when healthy. I don't know how old he is. He can't be older than like 27. Like he could still add to his bag. He's an improved defender. And y'all know how I feel about Denver Nuggets defense. Like if we want to start pointing fingers, then point them where they actually belong. But again, you could have brought Bruce Brown in without getting rid of this guy, in my opinion, and been fine. But when the money is concerned, you have to make some, tough decisions for sure. I think it was just premature. But
if they could have brought all those guys in without moving off of Michael Porter Jr., then I would have kept him, to be honest. I think he fits the team.
But
both of those guys, if they could have brought Hardaway and Bruce Brown back, I think that they should have kept MPJ. I don't know I haven't looked at the contracts and everything like that. I don't know how that would have worked out. But I think that he fit with the team really well. I think he played off Joker really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's tough to see him go, but where they send him to Brooklyn, right?
Brooklyn.
Yeah. So, I think that he'll get moved out of Brooklyn, though. No way that they keep him.
I mean, they sent him to the gulag for real.
I was just gonna say that. I was literally just gonna say that.
They're gonna have to do something with the contract, though. The contract is wild, isn't it?
I don't know what he's making, but I hope you're right though, Julian. I can't see a guy like that get wasted in Brooklyn with a team with no direction there. And it's gonna be scary for whatever team picks him up. Is my thing.
Yeah,
they're going to miss Michael Porter. That's my take about it.
He should go like Pistons or something. I think he should go to the Pistons. Also, I don't know if we're going to mention the Pistons. Them losing Dennis Schroeder was horrible. I thought that was a must bring back. I can't believe they didn't re-sign him. That was
I
just
think
why I
they
was
got
down.
Karis LeVert, if I'm not mistaken.
They did
Yeah,
get
they
Karis
did
LeVert,
get
but
Karis.
I would have brought back Schroeder for sure.
Well, let's get into the losers then, Joey.
Alrighty. We already talked about the Pelicans a little bit. I'm gonna get back into them for a little bit. I already addressed how I didn't think the roster made sense to me. I think they're very defensively inept. I think we talked a little bit about Jeremiah Fears, what I think about him. Derek Queen, I think he's a very talented big. I think the Bulls should have taken him. But unfortunately, I don't think he got put into the right situation as far as the Pelicans go. I don't really understand the fit next to Zion. I don't understand them bringing in Kevon Looney. I don't understand them getting rid of Kelly Olynyk. I think, I think he was going to be a lot more valuable than I think they anticipated. I think he was a better fit next to Zion, but I think we'll have to see about Sadiq Bey. I know what he's capable of as a player. I mean, he scored 50 in a game at one point. I think he'll give you a little bit of defense, but it's a very hard injury to recover from. That still has yet to be seen. I just, it just doesn't really make sense to me. I think Trey Murphy is caught in all of this stuff. Zion and his baby mama drama, and all of that. But I mean, I don't understand the fit. I just don't think it really makes sense to me. I don't like it.
Now, Joey. Well, now y'all kind of on me to make the hard takes. Out of all the losers this offseason, this is not a correct take in my opinion. Now, let me tell you why. Let me just tell you why. Your points about defense are completely correct. They have many questions that they need to answer. But if we get this team fully healthy, we have Jordan Poole. This is just for, the folks that don't know the depth chart. We have Jordan Poole. We have Trey Murphy III. Missy, right? He was up there. He may have made a rookie team. I'm not sure at center, but he played very well. Yeah, he played very well for the Pelicans last season. Zion Williamson, Jose Alvarado, Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney is an NBA champion at the end of the day. We know what he can do when we talk about glass work. So it's just another big that you can bring in. He's very serviceable. Many teams sought after him. DeJounte Murray has to come off of his injury, so we're going to hope that he's back and whole at some point during the season. We know what he can bring to the table on both sides of the ball. Jordan Hawkins, he's going to get a lot of run early in the year. If you don't know the name now, he's a good player. And then we have Herb Jones as well. These guys can play, right? These guys have proven that they can play. You have wing defenders in Trey Murphy and Herb Jones, like I was saying. You have Jose Alvarado that's going to be put in there. They have guys that can create, score the ball, shoot the ball. It's not going to be as bad of a team as we think. My only issue is they're in that Western Conference to where compared to the other teams, they're going to run into some issues for sure. But when that team is healthy, they're going to be a fun watch. They're going to be an entertaining watch at least. To say the very, very least about that Pelicans team. And then you just mentioned Sadiq Bey. You bring him in off the bench as well. He could score the basketball. I don't think they're going to be as bad as people are projecting. That's my take about it.
I think especially because you're in the West, I think, that even brings up, the future. Why do you give up that unprotected Bucks pick? Why do you do that? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, to be totally honest. I think, Derek Queen, as good as he is, and the questions that I have about him and his fit next to Zion, like you said, you have Izmisi on the roster. He just had an all rookie team performance for you last season. He was a lot better than I think a lot of teams a lot of people anticipated. Mm-hmm. And I understand I just don't know. I think it just doesn't make sense. Why you brought Derek Queen in, why you brought Kevon Looney in. I just don't see the fit there. I just don't.
I think, I'll open it up. Jacob, what do we think about this new Pelicans roster going forward?
I mean, I think it doesn't come close to the moves the Bucks have made. so far. Like I think
I'll
the
get
moves
to
the
them.
Bucks-
Don't worry. I'll get to them. Don't worry.
That's got to by far be the worst offseason I've seen in a while. Why are you making a face like that right now?
I mean, we'll have to get into it. But I mean,
Why are you looking like that?
I'm just confused at where we're going with this. I don't
Should
understand.
I segue into the Bucks?
Yeah, you might as
yeah,
well.
he's on the list.
All
Bucks
right.
on the list. Okay, yeah, let's segue.
All right, let's segue into the Bucks. Okay. I love the Miles Turner signing. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But I think at the cost of waiving Damian Lillard, I think, after all these assets you gave up for him, you gave up Drew Holiday, you gave up, Grayson Allen, a lot of these assets to get a Damian Lillard, who at the time you thought, oh, this offense is going to be devastating. This pick and roll is going to be unstoppable. They looked good that first season until they fired Adrian Griffin and hired Doc Rivers. I mean, you can say all you want about the locker room stuff, but I think that was really the downfall here. I don't think you really had enough defensive assets. I think their lack of, a backcourt with a Dame not there. I mean, are you going to rely? I mean, Kevin Porter Jr. did really good for you last year. Awesome. That's cool. But are you really trusting him to run your offense with like one of the top 3 best players in the world? I just, I don't see it. I really don't see it. Bringing back Gary Trent Jr. is cool. I think they brought back Taurean Prince too, if I'm not mistaken.
They did.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, he shot well from 3, cool. But I think it comes down to, hey, you lose a lot of value because he gets injured. That's fine. But I genuinely feel like you really couldn't get as much value for him that you had to just trade him. And I understand the second apron is a huge, huge thing.
Mhm.
I get it. And, you could argue that was, something that you had to do, but you can't tell me that you just kind of let him go like that. I just don't think that was the right move. And it's hard to say. I think, he's an old point guard who, isn't able to defend in the first place. Used a lot of athleticism to kind of get him to where he needs to be. We're not sure how he's going to come back with his Achilles. I don't even think he's going to be playing at all this season, but I just feel like there were better ways to go about it. And I think they just took everything that they gave up to get Damian Lillard and they just tossed it out. Like it was just nothing. This is not coming from like a, we disrespected Damian Lillard, but I think even from like a team building standpoint, a roster construction standpoint, like you couldn't get any sort of value out of that.
If you're another team's GM, what on earth are you going to give up for Damian Lillard right now, who just busted his Achilles?
Why are you waiving him?
Because they needed to waive him to get Miles Turner. That's why I don't understand how
Is
they're
that like
on this
a
list.
huge win?
Miles Turner is a monster.
He's good.
No, Miles
Is he
Turner
a
is very
monster?
good. Miles Turner is a great defender, right? He's one of the best rim protectors in basketball, probably top
Okay.
5. Okay, he's also one of the only bigs who can shoot the ball the way that he does,
That's not
and has been steady for years, right? How many other bigs can protect the rim at a super high level and shoot the ball at a super high level at a high clip?
I mean,
Name them.
the numbers are rising. Name one.
Name them. I said name them.
Wembanyama, Porzingis, Kevin Durant.
What?
I mean, no.
What do you mean, what? Is he not a big?
No, he can't defend the rim
All right.
at a high level.
Sabonis.
His
Sengun.
stats are good enough, Joe.
What's
but-
Sabonis? No.
Sengun.
His
I'm not
stats
letting-
are good enough to be in
I
that
know.
discussion. He's not like
No,
wow.
no,
I don't know.
no.
I don't know if I can exactly let Sabonis go.
I'm not letting
His
that
stats
slide.
are-
Sengun. Do you want me to keep going?
Sangoon.
Thank you.
That's not true. It's not true. This is what I'm saying. We're making stuff up now, right? So we can see how valuable Miles Turner is because you're scrambling right now. We had to throw in Kevin Durant, a Sengun. What?
Chet Holmgren?
Bro, Chet Holmgren is cool, bro. He's young and he's gonna get better, but I don't think he's as good as Miles Turner is right now. I'll be honest. He's not as good as Miles Turner is right now.
I don't know.
Just keeping it real. He's not. They just played. Miles Turner didn't even play well, but he's better than Chet in that series, and he was better than him, way better than him throughout the playoffs.
I gotta get in here though, because to the Damian Lillard point, and to Joe
shooting
to respond to you too, they had to have tried to make something work. But when you see something like this, when you see a guy just get like Damian Lillard, I don't care how y'all feel about him. When you see a guy like Damian Lillard just get waived, I fear he may not return to the sport of basketball, even a fraction of what he was, right? So when you see that, this is a desperation type of move to keep Giannis happy, in my opinion. Like, you sign his guy back in Bobby Portis, right? Kevin Porter Jr., I mean, he returns, but
throw Thanasis the bag, and you're good, bro. Like, they're good. All they got to do is sign Thanasis and get a little point guard. They're cool.
But you get Miles Turner because he's basically the young version of a Brook Lopez, somebody that's going to protect the rim and then space the floor as well. So
here's the issue I have right now. How many point guards you have on the market right now that is going to be your floor general? I mean,
not many. It's tough.
Not
it's really
like
tough.
that. Like Tyus Jones got signed. Trey Jones got signed. Like,
yeah,
these point guards are going left and right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like time's a ticking. Giannis is only, has only so many patience. I mean, even the reports that Chris Haynes said about him, not being happy about, just straight up waving Damian Lillard. Mm-hmm. I can't just totally, take that lightly. And I think it's, the first of the dominoes, I think, going to fall for Milwaukee. I already don't think that Giannis's trade value is going to be as high as a lot of people think. And I'm on record saying that. You guys may not agree, but I think, when you really think about it, I think he's 30 already, if I'm not mistaken, like turning 31 this upcoming December. I don't know if big guys like that rely on athleticism and can't really shoot the ball really age that well. I think Father Time's going to catch up to him.
When the athleticism is like that, I don't know, bro. The athleticism is a little different.
I don't know.
That's not a regular. It's not a regular big man relying on athleticism. He's lapping everyone in athleticism. I don't think he's going to slow down within the next contract. I'll be shocked.
Not within the next contract. I think he'll get 35, and then we'll, have to
for sure. And we're seeing guys do it already, bro. Like we're seeing a James Harden who's 35. Like all that whole era of basketball, they're all playing at the top of the game right now, and they're all 35 plus.
No way you mentioned James Harden, but no, but I can understand. I can understand some of the moves that the Bucks have made here, but it's all in desperation. I think they're just trying to say, "Hey, Giannis, I mean, we're going to give you something. We're going to give you something to work with here. I mean, this is the best we can do with what we have. I mean, it's just an unfortunate situation with Dame, but this is what we can do. So, hold us in good standing." Are they one of the losers of?
I have teams Miles Turner. Bro, Pacers are a way bigger loser than the Bucks.
I'd have to agree with that take. The Pacers are
this offseason. They have a point guard who has a torn Achilles as well.
Torn.
Right? He won't play for the next year. We'll see. Right? They didn't do anything to replace him. They didn't have a draft pick, I don't think, in the first round. So they haven't really added anything to their team. Lost their guy. Now they lost their big man.
What is that?
Like, they have done nothing this offseason but lose Miles Turner.
Yeah, they just lost their big man, who's a rim protector, and he's a huge part of why the offense runs the way that it does. And he makes Halliburton better.
I personally would have to agree. I mean, that's crazy work by the Pacers. And Windhorst got on there saying that if you're a Pacers fan, you're a Pacers player, like you're just mad at the front office. Like you're telling me we couldn't pay this guy.
I can't believe they did not pay him. He's been there forever, bro. He would have got his jersey retired as a Pacer if he was signed another contract. And I'm not even trolling. Like he's literally been there for his whole career. He will retire one of the greatest Pacers. I think he has records. Literally, right now.
I think he's the staple of what every center in this league should be like.
For sure.
I mean, he's not like yet by all accounts, like he's not a superstar. He's not a Jokic. He's not an Embiid. He's not a Sabonis or anything. But I think, look, if you need a center to fit the mold of any team, a guy that can block shots, that can protect the rim and shoot threes at a high volume and a very good clip, like that's your guy. That's your guy.
I agree. And he's been in trade rumors for the duration of his career. Like we've wanted him at our Lakers spot. I told you I'd be fine with him as an Atlanta Hawk. I mean, so it's just sad to see. That's definitely an L. But Joey, bring us home though. Who's the last loser on the list here?
I think I want to go in a little bit of a different direction. I'm going to admit I don't think I had really any other losers. I think we can talk about the Phoenix Suns, about their roster construction. We can talk about the Bulls just selling. Yes, I've talked about the Bulls many times, and I feel like it goes without saying. It's probably gotten to the point to where it's a broken record on this pod. I just don't understand how you can really give Lonzo away for Isaac Okoro of all people. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, we've talked about this.
Nice, bro.
Like, I get it. Like, Lonzo's gone through his fair share of injuries. I get it. Don't get me wrong. Like the value is definitely dipped a little bit. But I think and I don't know how many Cavs fans can admit to this. Maybe there's some Cavs fans in the audience. I don't know. I'm already pissed off about Patrick Williams. I can't imagine that the Cavs are less pissed off and less frustrated about Okoro than me as a Bulls fan talking about Patrick Williams.
Yep.
I think he's a far more frustrating prospect what did he do on this Cavs team this year? Can someone tell me that? What noise did he make? Nothing.
I can't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you.
Nothing.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, I'm not expecting a whole first round pick or anything. I'm maybe a second or two. I don't know, but just straight up Isaac Okoro. That's it. It makes me really scared to see what they get for Nikola Vucevic.
I got it. Like when I saw that trade, that was probably one of the funniest, one of the worst things I've seen. Like possible. I'm sorry. And when teams press the button like this, you have to wonder what happened. Like when we saw the AD Luka trade, is there something we don't know about Luka? Like, is his habits off the court so bad to where he's gonna fall apart as a bag of bones? Like, is it something? Like, is he gambling on the side? Like, your mind just starts spurring. So when you look at this, it's like we haven't seen Lonzo play in a long time. He
didn't have a bad season last year. Like for what it wasn't bad.
Not that I saw. I mean. Is there something we don't know? Is my only.
It wasn't his old self.
It wasn't his best. I'll admit that, but I think all things considered, not horrible. Wasn't the worst thing ever.
Very serviceable. No, very serviceable. So again, my mind goes to that because I don't know what you gain off of this situation at all. Like contractually, just basketball. I don't know what you gain, but Joey, I'll give you this though. Looking at the depth chart here, it's going to be very similar to last year for you. These guys, you hope Matas takes a jump, right?
Bulls are a pit of misery, bro. Like, come on now. They're fried. Like there's nothing good to look for. Nothing good to look forward to, excuse me. Not at all, bro.
You guys can get me. You guys can get a nice little frustration Bulls clip out of me if you want.
Oh yeah, I feel bad for y'all.
Throw up on the TikTok.
Hopefully, bro.
It's so hard, man. It's so hard, man. Like,
shout out to Ben Johnson and the Bears, man, because they may make y'all happier this year. Because the Bulls, you're good, bro. You're good.
Damn, the Bulls and the Bears. Ooh.
That's a tough one. They actually may be better. They may be better, honestly. I think they will.
As long as the Reinsdorfs are running this basketball team, we are going to be in a pit of misery. As long as Mark Eversley and Arturas Karnisovas are making decisions for this team, we are going to be in a pit of misery. I hope we resign Josh Giddey. I think he's a good piece. He did really well for us this year. Modest is looking really good, but just the pieces around him and how we've dismantled this team. We got nothing for Zach LaVine. Essentially, we got role players. We got Kevin Huerter, who's fine. Zach Collins, who's fine. Like, what are they really doing for us? Yeah, you could zoom in on my face so you can see this like huge bit of depression that I'm in.
It's real pain.
It's real pain.
We get nothing. We get our own pick back that we use to draft Noah Senge, who, you know, if he's not the next Wemby, I really don't care. We should have taken Derek Queen or some sort of center. We could have had Thomas Sorber for all I care. Young Hansen, maybe even. I don't care. Could have used that pick to draft a center of the future. I don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah,
we got rid of DeMar DeRozan for Chris Duarte, and he doesn't play for us. He doesn't. What do we really do anymore?
Definitely,
I might have to switch allegiances to a different team like this. This has caused me a very eternal pain. You think I'm gonna overpay for Chicago Sports Network to watch this sorry ass Bulls team? No, you're sorely mistaken.
You got to take it to Stream East next year, bro. Don't get me wrong.
The Stream
East. That's a Stream East for sure.
Someone I hope this Bulls front office pays for my therapy sessions, because it puts me in a very eternal pit of hell. It's so hard for me to watch this team and how they've mismanaged this team. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Now we're in talks of Bradley Beal. What is he gonna do? We're gonna have a Levine. Are we gonna have a Levine 0.2 experience? No thanks. You know I hate Bradley Beal. What's the point?
But it's just so we're all on the same page, though. It's not the fact that this team, you've got some interesting young pieces, but it's just how we got here. They had Lonzo, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan.
We were at the top of the East for a little bit, bro.
Like we had high hopes for that Bulls team. Like we thought that was gonna be the squad, and then from there, man.
If we ever get sponsors here, I hope it's for my therapy, like a therapy provider, because Lord knows I need it. I might have to become a Hawks fan, man. I might have to.
I mean, Drew already on that fan bus. We got room though. No, we got room. We got extra seats in the back. Hey, Jacob, we got extra seats.
I don't. Nah.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying, like,
no new fans.
The Hawks did do well this offseason, but they're not. Even me being honest, I don't think the Hawks are.
Clip it. Clippers.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now.
I don't
no
think they're-
games, that's
He's
you're
straddling
not
it.
allowed to
Listen,
hop
I
on.
don't think that the Hawks are quite yet contenders.
All right, that's all we needed to know.
I do think that
Yeah.
you're close though.
That's
Got it
all we
clear.
needed.
You did great. I think. Listen, I think that you did great in the offseason, and you did great at surrounding Trey with people much bigger than him, so they can't pick on him as much. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
for
In
sure.
the East, this year maybe.
It's clips.
Typically, no.
Clips.
This year, maybe Joey, we gotta pick a side. It's gotta be one or the
I'm
other.
talking about.
It can't be both.
perennial-
It
Oh.
cannot be both. I refuse to allow it. It cannot.
No, I'm saying on a year-to-year basis.
On a
You build a contender. A contender is something that's built.
At Take 5 Part. Now we got all the clips. We're gonna make sure we come out with that daily content so y'all can see how it goes. Right. Just watching unfold. I'm from the A. So you already know what
You're
it
not.
is. Yeah, we already know what it is. From all right, so Tuesday, 7:30. Make sure y'all get on. And yeah, we'll see you.